Perfect. Now down to the right.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. And then the other thing that I wanted to do was just give you these up front first. You can get on our website, okay, and
Do you have enough for everyone?
I do.
I'm gonna put
You
these
get on the website, you can have a look at the telemark end of the program through our website. Mark?
Sorry, thank you.
No worries. Okay, so you can check things out there. Right. And then, boy, we need to go ski. Agree? It was hectic, horrible, and it was of no fault through anyone, just everyone got together in the same place.
Yeah.
So well, let's keep safety in mind, okay? So when we stop, make sure we don't stop on the back side of the rolls. Make sure we stop in areas that we're kind of a little off the side of the trail. Okay, so we want to keep safety in mind. And the only thing that I want to say right now before we go through introduction is let's get on the double chair and let's go up to the top. Let's get up to the top and just go to the right a little bit and we'll meet right there. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yep.
US, we like to make lots of connections. Before we even start teaching, we like to connect with people, get to know their name, because then we put them in an environment of learning. If we don't put people in an environment of learning, sometimes it's very difficult for people to learn.
Yeah.
So, great. What I want to do is open up the door to questions. If you guys have a question, if you don't understand what I'm doing, make sure you ask. If you need something answered, a big question, get me on the lift, okay? And then I can answer that question on the lift. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate. If you think they're dumb, don't think they're dumb, okay? There's no dumb question, all right? So make sure that we interact that way. If I ask some questions of you guys, just throw out an answer. If it doesn't matter if it's the wrong answer, if it's the right answer, we're just trying to get interaction. Okay, so that's what I want to set up and do today. Let's ski down and around from the lift where we get away from the noise. And so technology, I'm just going to ask the question, technology's come a long way. So we started with wooden skis, and then maybe they screwed on a metal edge, and that changed the way we did things. And then maybe they started making skis out of fiberglass, and that changed things. And then we maybe started to ski stuff with shape, and that changed things. And now we're going through another equipment revolution. We're looking at it here, okay? Plastic boots with telemark. We're looking at shape skis, and now, what I have on, we're looking at rocket skis. So it's not a clinic about rocker. It's a clinic about how we deal with different technology. So for example, when we talk about shape skis, what were we doing a lot with regards to skills? What were we doing a lot on shape skis? Roland, did that answer do you know that question? What do we do a lot on shape skis? And if we look at skills, we have tipping, turning, and pressure control. What was our focus a lot on when we had shape skis?
that might be easier to, you know, edge carving. Yeah.
It's edgy. So what we did with shape skis is we figured out that we had to go to here and the ski would do a lot of work for us. Okay, that's a good thing. Now we're coming back into different technology, coming back into rocket technology, and the blend of skills is starting to change again. Okay, so we're going to look at that. Okay, so that's one part of what I want to do today. The other part is talking about the learning partnership. Okay, so we've got our skills that we teach, but in order to teach those skills, we have to connect with people. Because if I can't connect with you, I'm not going to be able to teach you those skills. So we have a learning partnership that we talk about. So we have students that turn up. And now I'm going to give you an example. I live at 9,000 feet above sea level. I get students that turn up who are not very fit. I have to keep in mind when that student turns up that I can't ski hard all day, because halfway through the day, those people are dead. Those people are not skiing that well. So I have to keep that in mind. When the student comes to me, what do they bring to the table? Have they come from a cross-country background? Have they come from a snowboard background? Have they come from a ski background? I have to take that into consideration when I'm teaching. Okay, so we have the student, then we have the instructor. Now as an instructor, I will look at those things that the student has, decide what I need to do, talk to the student about what they want, and formulate a lesson plan based on that. Okay? So what we like to do and what we like to say in the US is that we teach people, not a system. Does that make sense? So we individualize our lessons based on who we have coming to the lesson. We don't look at someone and say, we're going to plug you into this progression. We look at what they have, build on the skills that they already know, and go from there. So we like to think that we teach people and not just plug them into a system. Okay, and that's what we do in the US. So let's get going, let's ski. Okay, and let's ski all the way to the bottom of this lift again, but let's ski with a focus. All right, and the focus today, we're going to go down into the feet. The first thing I want us to do is just relax the toes. Sometimes when our first run that we go take, I find my toes do this in my boots. Okay, so I want you to relax the toes, spread the toes, and allow the foot to work as it would normally want to work. Sometimes we inhibit that by scrunching up the toes. That's our focus. Let's go down, get back on the lift, we'll come up, and we'll start to get into what and how we look at skills from the US and go through some of that stuff. Does that make sense? Michael, nice turns. So, you'll hear me talk a lot today about options. Okay? More options, better skiers. Okay? And that's what we like to talk in the US. If we can provide people with lots of options, then it allows them to be versatile in the way they ski. If we just have one way that we ski, we limit what we can ski. Does that make sense? So you hear me talk a lot about options today. Let's go up on the chairlift. And what we're going to start to talk about is the skills that we use in the US and how we break those skills down. Okay, let's get on up the lift.
Okay.
few things we can do with this tool, right? We can edge the tool, we can turn the tool, we can push the tool up and down, okay? Really, there's three things. In telemark, we also have lead change. Now, if you really look at it, lead change is pushing the tool. So it should fit under pressure control, which is pushing the tool either up or down, or forward and back. But we think it's very important to the point where we class it as its own skill. So what we have, and if you have look into sheets, and you don't have to right now, but what we have is 4 circles. And these 4 circles cross over. Okay?
Paper and circles. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
The 4 circles on the paper. Okay, so those 4 circles are our skills. Now, depending on what you want to ski, okay, or like the snow conditions, or the terrain, or the tool, those circles will interact differently. Okay, so if we want to ski powder, we may use less edging and more steering. So the turning or the steering circle becomes more dominant. If we ski and want to ski hard pack, edging might be a more dominant circle. So depending on what we want to do will depend on how the circles interact and which one becomes a little more dominant. Okay, so we have tipping or edging, we have turning or steering the skis, pressure control, which is, you know, the way that we deal with pressure that builds up, and lead change. What separates us from alpine or downhill is the lead change. Now, there might be a lead change in alpine, okay? The lead change is a result of, it's not what we do to make the turn happen. So it's a little bit different. That's why we like to highlight lead change. So we think, and I'm going to go to lead change first, okay? So we think in the US, we have 3 different lead change options, okay? Guess what they might be. You guys have one that we use. What is that lead change option, Scott? Yes, stepping forward, okay? So lead change number 1 option, and we don't have to go 1, 2, or 3, it's just one of our lead change options, is that we might go push the rear ski forward. Is it right or wrong? No, it's just an option.
It's one way.
It's one way, exactly. And there are times when we think that that is a great option, and there are times that we think that maybe that's not the best option. Okay? What might be the second or a second option that we have? Anyone? Just come up, throw one out. Yeah. Okay, so I'm here. Maybe what I do is I pull this one back. Okay, so again, is it right or wrong? No, it's just another way or another option. What's the third? Both together. Yeah, so this might be the third option. Okay, so depending on what we want to ski will depend on which of those we pull out and we use. So when a beginning student comes to us, and at the beginning end, which lead change do you think that they maybe have the most? Which one of the 3? Maybe a pull back, or maybe a push forward. Okay? So depending on what they have will depend on what we give them. If they only have the pull back, then we need to work with either the push forward or the scissor. Does that make sense? Or the pushing and pulling. Yes. So there's a few things that I want to look at with regards to, and let's look at this. This option here of pushing forward. Let me ask you this question. When I choose that option, okay, when I choose to push that ski forward, what happens with my weight distribution? Where does my weight go first? The front ski or the back ski?
Transfer
You know what?
to
Let's do it. Let's ski this. Okay? Let's ski this down a couple turns. And I want you to focus. I want you to push this ski forward, and I want you to focus on where your weight goes regarding this ski or this ski, where your weight goes more. Is it on this? Well, let's just say towards the middle to the end. Where do you find that that weight goes when you just focus on pushing the back ski forward? Let's do this. Come to where I'll be, watch one of my turns, and then just come down and just have a look. I'll be down on the left a little bit, further. Do you feel that, Roland? When you push the ski from the back to the front, maybe we're a little more active on the front foot. Do you find that or not?
Depends. If you push forward the whole way, the whole turn,
Yeah.
this one forward, I have to stay on this,
Yep.
otherwise I can't push this.
Okay.
So then to the end I stand a bit more
Okay.
backwards. But
So you can choose to do that.
yeah,
You start with the pressure on
Yeah.
that foot, and then or you start with the pressure here, and then it comes through.
And then you land on this.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to here. All right, is that option? And let's just say, for example, that what happens is that through the turn, that maybe more weight comes onto the downhill or the front ski. Would that be a good option for this? Maybe, maybe not. Let's go ski that. All right, let's ski that. Give us your impression. I want an interaction.
if you push forward in the beginning,
Yeah.
it's quite a bad option.
Okay.
Because your weight is coming into the front.
Okay.
But if you push forward in the second part, so after the two skis are on the same height, now, then
When might we want to pull back? I know you guys talk about not having any moves that go back. Okay, and this is a little bit different way that we look at it. When might there be that option of pulling back? Let's just ski this. Be careful here.
I can answer it hard to read for me, but maybe let us try on the piste.
Okay, yeah.
See the fact that when you're going over the bump, pulling it back to get the skis underneath you.
I like that, Scott. And I think he's got a point here. That maybe in some bump situations, okay, what we need to do is pull back, because if we push forward while we're going downhill, we don't have time to get the lead change done.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we get late, and we get rocked. So maybe in the bumps, there is a point at which maybe we want to pull back. Option.
Yeah.
Okay? Sometimes we've noticed skiing the steeps. Okay, if this is a steep run here, sometimes if I pull back and let my body go, that might be a better option than trying to push this back ski. Okay? So again, we come down to different options depending on what we want to ski or how we want to ski. What we tend to do is fall back into scissoring as the most commonly used form of lead change. And why? Because it allows us to be centered over our skis and the skis to move underneath us. What we found is that maybe with this option, the weight comes forward, then we have to readjust. When we're centered over our feet, there's no readjustment forward or back. We're centered the whole time. So when we ski bumps, we might want to use this and maybe this. When we ski hard pack, maybe we want to use this. Okay, and why? Because we know that when the turning forces are happening, and when gravity's pulling us, weight comes onto this ski. So we let that happen. Okay, so maybe the option in hardpack is to push forward. Maybe in a long turn, we can push this back ski forward. We have time. Maybe in a short turn, we do this because we don't have time. Okay, so 3 different options, and we select them depending on what we want to do. But this is a good area for us to talk about maybe some edging, because it's a little edgier or a little firmer here. And we in the US like to think that edging starts from the feet and the ankles. Okay, so from here, and Michael, I'm just going to go down a side slip towards you, so if you can just drop back a little. Okay, I can release from the ankles here, or I can move the hip. Why? What are the benefits from releasing with the ankles, or edging with the ankles, as opposed to edging further up? What? Smaller movement. Yes, smaller movement, and it has more direct consequences when it's down lower. Okay, so I might just release from the ankles, or I can come across and release from the hip. So we like to think that edging is more based towards the snow, as opposed to towards the upper body. So just in this little section here, just release from the ankles and release from the hips, and notice the difference. And what can you tell me about the difference? Is one easier? Is one harder?
One quicker.
Is one quicker?
Yeah.
Which one's quicker?
The
The ankles?
Yeah.
You have a lot more movement. You have a large movement, so you've got more
Yep.
you hit.
Is one right or wrong?
No.
No, different options, right? And maybe you combine the two. Okay, maybe you refine edge angle down low, but start it up here. So again, it's different way we look at it. Okay, the thing with telemark is that sometimes the release here is hard for people to grasp. And that's sometimes why we see more edge angle on the front ski, because this one we don't know how to release it. Okay, let's go down a little bit where these people are, and maybe ski some of this softer snow on the left here. Focus on the lead change, because I think that's a little different than what other nations do, perhaps. So we have edging, okay? We like to think of edging happening closer to the snow, okay? And again, it's not right or wrong, just different options. All right? In the steeps, maybe what we need to do is make sure the body moves across, as opposed to more down towards the snow. On the piste, maybe it's a little more down at the ankles as opposed to coming to the hip. Okay? So we have lead change, edging, steering, rotary. Rotary comes, when this is in the US, we like to think rotary is a leg motion. It's turning the femurs inside the hip socket. It's isolated to the legs. That's what we like to think in the US. Anything else that's involved with rotary plays a lot sometimes with our balance. Okay, so if we can remain balanced from the upper body and do rotary movements in the lower body, we can effectively ski into counted positions. Okay? And if that's, you don't understand that, jump on the lift. So we like to think that the rotary of the legs is steering with the femurs. Okay? So let's head on down through here, and I want us to focus on steering with the legs so that we ski into counted positions, allowing the body to move down the hill, just steering with the lower legs or with the legs. Does that make sense? So let's do that. Otherwise, what ends up happening is that if we start rotary with the upper body here, stop the rotary. But if I don't have to stop it, if the lower legs are involved with rotary, then I don't have to stop that rotary from happening because I ski into a counted position which prepares me for the next turn. All I have to do is release, steer the legs, and allow myself to ski into another counted position. Does that make sense? Let's ski this down a little bit.
With smaller turns, yes.
Yes.
With bigger turns, we normally follow the skis.
Same with us.
Yeah, yeah.
Now we'll clarify that.
I must go alpine.
You know what? Option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Option.
Yes,
You work a lot with this option that we
Yeah.
can as well ski parallel.
Yes.
Huh?
That's quite alright.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, to clarify, do we always ski in big turns? Do we always have to be here?
No.
No, we don't have to. On the bigger turns, the body might follow the skis more. On the shorter turns, we need to ski into strong counted positions.
Yeah.
Okay, so it depends on the turn shape, and the terrain that we ski. Okay, so it's not all the time here, so it depends on what we ski.
Yeah.
Let's duck down and around, get out onto the piste. As we get down further, that perhaps it's
Sun's going in.
you know what, let's maybe ski it and then we have the option to pull out left.
Yeah, yeah.
So we can do that. So, let's have a look. Skills that we use, 4 skills. Lead change, edging, rotary, pressure control management. Then we blend those different skills depending on the situation, the snow to snow, and the tools. So I just want to drop into the tools. And this is what we're finding, and I brought this up. With a great shape ski, your skill blend might be more towards edging. Okay? So what we've seen over the years is that because of shape skis, and it's not right or wrong, because of shape skis, the skill blend has been more towards the edging. In fact, I've heard this said. We no longer turn or steer the skis when we have shape skis. Maybe, maybe not. I like the way you guys talk about that being a sloppy, you know, we've lost some of that stuff due to shape skis. I think there's guiding of the skis, which I think is also partly steering or turning. But we have to be careful. But what we're finding now with rocket skis is this, is that the skill blend now has come back a little more even. Because of the rocket skis, we can access turning skills a lot easier. Okay, so the blend of the skills and the way that they all come together is a little more even now with the rocket skis. So we're finding that rocket skis allow easier or a little bit better blend of skills. We're also finding with rocket skis that we can take people into off-piste terrain earlier. They have more fun, okay, at a beginning end. And at an upper end, we're finding this, that you don't have to change your movement patterns so much between on-piste and off-piste. Remember years ago when we skied just small skinny skis, we'd have maybe a stance that was hip-width apart. And then when we got into off-piste, maybe we narrowed that stance. We're finding that we don't have to change how we blend things as much with the new rocket technology. We can use the same movement patterns here as we can here. So that allows us to be, for the upper end skiers, not to have to change anything when we go from here to here. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's what we're finding with technology. So when we had the shape skis, okay, before shape skis, we had to do a lot of this. Then we changed with the shape skis to do more of that. Now we're coming back around the circle again to access more of this.
Yeah.
So we're just moving around the technology world, which just allows us to adjust how we approach and teach skiing. Okay, so in essence, that's what we're doing. And then through the learning partnership, in that we look at the students from an individual basis. And Roland brought up a good topic. He's like, well, hang on a sec. If you've got a large group of people, how the hell do you do that? What we end up doing, if I have 4 or 5 people in a group, I will look at generally what's going on and address things, and then be specific with feedback as the lesson progresses. Okay, so we can be individual, but make sure we cover everybody in the process. Okay, so that's what we're doing in the US. Charlie, are you heading down?
Yeah.
Have you skied this?
No, but we ski along this. It's pretty good.
It's not bad, eh?
Yeah.
I think we're going to ski this and maybe head down.
Yeah, man.
Sounds great. So to wrap things up, that's what we're doing in the US. Okay, we're looking at teaching people. We're looking at our skill pool and our blend. Okay, and we're looking at this learning partnership and how that works in the process. Is that something that you guys can understand and take away? Okay. Is it any different than what you do in Switzerland?
I think it's always the same in each
Country.
group.
Yeah.
Yep.
The technique and what we want to reach is a bit the same.
Yep.
It's just the way you
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Huh? It's a bit
I agree.
different.
Yeah.
I agree.
Or the words you need.
Yes.
It's a bit different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, small photo.
Hi, I'm Ross Matlock. I'm from TSIA, America. I live in Crested Butte, Colorado. And half the binding, twice the fun.